It's nice to be here on Newsline. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Tonight we bring you interesting stories that will not only wow but blow your mind, from human angles, social to corporate reports. We shall begin with sights and sounds of political rallies, and of course you get to see the new set of young inventors that have emerged. We shall examine the impact of social media. Our correspondent will tell us how cancer can be prevented, and you will also meet an octogenarian who is a die-hard fan. These and more after the news with beautiful Fatima in Abuja. Hello, Fatima.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for that compliment. You're welcome to the news. Gusau, the capital of Zamfara State, was agog as party supporters trooped out en masse to give the APC presidential campaign team a befitting reception. President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to the people to be law-abiding and support whoever emerge as the party's governorship candidate in the state. Salihu Abdullahi monitored the rally.
Nigeria! The APC presidential campaign train was in Zamfara State with a lot of campaign messages and a reminder that so much have been achieved in actualizing the party's agenda within the first tenure of the Buhari administration. Government efforts on ensuring peace across the country, among other issues, formed highlights of the campaign.
It has approved that we take the railway from Katsina to Gusau. You will have railway from Katsina to Gusau, from Gusau to Sokoto, from Sokoto to Kebbi.
And the Nigerian people will never allow anybody whose primary purpose is self-enrichment or enrichment of his family members.
APC!
President Muhammadu Buhari assured the people that pending legal issues on the state governorship primary election will be resolved in the interest of all.
I took an oath of office that I will remain honest and truthful, and I will not take what does not belong to me. And whoever I see as corrupt, I will make sure the law takes its course. The party governorship primary elections result is being challenged in the courts. We are working to make sure the issue is resolved before elections.
The people of Zamfara State have been encouraged to convert their number to votes for the success of APC in the forthcoming elections. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, traditional rulers in Zamfara State have thrown their weight behind President Muhammadu Buhari as he seeks re-election to take Nigeria to the next level. This was when the president paid homage on members of the State Council of Emirs and Chiefs as part of his campaign tour to the state. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Zamfara is one state in northern Nigeria where petty squabbles and rivalry are not only fragmenting but also threatening the electoral fortunes of the governing APC in the area. As a result, the state, which is also facing challenges of security, may or may not have the party fielding candidates for governorship and parliamentary elections in spite of its dominance of the political landscape. That notwithstanding, the people of Zamfara, who take pride in farming, seem to have resolved not to allow the power of the broom weakened. Hence, they are turning out en masse to show solidarity and support to President Muhammadu Buhari. Receiving the president on a homage, members of the Zamfara State Council of Traditional Rulers, led by the Emir of Anka, Alhaji Attairu Ahmad, without mincing words, assured the Nigerian leader that Zamfara is indeed for him.
The traditional rulers and the president are solidly behind you and praying fervently for your success in the coming election, inshallah. Our love for you is informed by your passion for justice, anti-corruption, equality, and fairness in governance.
I'll not say much about what is going to happen next Saturday, but what we are seeing is going to be much, much better than what we have seen in 2015. Mr. President, be rest assured, Zamfara is palm, is for you, and it will remain for you, inshallah.
Both Governor Yari Abubakar and the Emir appreciated President Buhari for the tremendous improvement in the security situation across Zamfara state. Killings, abduction for ransom, and other acts of criminality, they say, have drastically reduced following the gallantry exhibited by troops deployed to the area. The president described as gladdening that peace has returned to Zamfara state, saying, however, that the heavy presence of security personnel in their domains is not worthy of celebration.
It means that traditionally we are losing grip on our environment. In terms of security, the responsibility falls on your shoulders. Technically, not the police, not the military, because of neighborhood knowledge. You know more than I do the improvement we made. We have to eliminate some of the bands, including one who named himself Buharin Daji or Buharin whatever. Buharin Center is stronger than Buharin Daji.
On his mission to seek public support for re-election, President Buhari described as worrisome that the APC family members in the state are still in the law courts over primary election matters for which he cannot do anything.
I will not abuse the Constitution because I swear by the Holy Quran to go by it. There is a level below which I don't operate. I hope I will be elected, and I assure you that what we build on security, economy, and fighting corruption will continue.
Zamfara is the 31st state to be visited by the presidential campaign team of the governing APC. From Gusau, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari says renewal of his mandate to another 4 years will help consolidate the visible achievements recorded in the efforts to return Nigeria to the path of glory. President Buhari, in a video message to Nigerians, promised to meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people.
Fellow compatriots, it has been over 3 years since you gave me your mandate to oversee the affairs of our dear country. It has not been an easy journey, but with sincerity of purpose, perseverance, dedication, and most importantly, support from individuals like you, we have made great progress. Some of these achievements are visible for everyone to see. Some are still in the works. I hereby humbly ask for your support again in the coming election to enable us to move to the next level and consolidate on the successes recorded in making our country a better place. I don't take your support for granted. We will continue to work to protect your interests and deliver our mandate. Thank you.
The Chairman, Central Committee, Youth and Women, Buhari Presidential Campaign Council, General Muhammad Buba Marwa, has commended the people of Adamawa State for the warm reception accorded President Muhammadu Buhari during the APC Presidential Campaign Rally in Yola. Rayyan Ubala reports.
General Muhammadu Buba Marwa said the show of solidarity and support to the president by the people of Adamawa State clearly shows the level of acceptability and confidence the people have on the APC presidential candidate. He called on them to massively come out en masse during election periods to vote for President Muhammadu Buhari, Governor Muhammad Umar Jibril and all APC candidates for more developments and good governance. General Marwa explained that the youth and women wing of the Presidential Council will soon embark on house-to-house campaign on the need for people to collect their PVCs and vote for APC candidates. The chairman, Youth and Women Campaign Council, also described the reports on social media that he was attacked during the campaign rally in Yola as false and malicious, saying the outing was successful and hitch-free. In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Less than 1 week to the presidential election, a coalition of aggrieved Atiku support group has formally declared support for the re-election bid of President Buhari. Receiving them in Abuja, Chairman Central Working Committee of the APC Women and Youth Presidential Campaign Council, Muhammad Buba Marwa, described their action as timely. Political correspondent Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Leader of the aggrieved support groups, Bello God's Power, says his members, mostly youths and women, have decided to support President Muhammadu Buhari because of his youth-friendly agenda as demonstrated in his first tenure in office.
Our decision to formally declare support for President Muhammadu Buhari re-election is for national interest and his ability to rejig the governance system that hitherto occasioned with corruption activities under the 16 years misrule.
Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa said the coalition of more than 145 support groups will be integrated into the existing ones.
To campaign from door to door, taking full advantage of what you know of the government and performance of President Buhari.
He urged them to work in harmony to actualize the re-election bid of President Buhari and all APC candidates in the forthcoming polls. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari says those who have continued to criticize the anti-corruption stand of the present administration are those who oppose its mission, promising that they will not escape being brought to book. The president, in a statement in Abuja, hinted that corruption is a serious threat to Nigeria and its election. Naja'atu Tijani has details of the statement.
Then we will eventually get hold of them, take away what they have stolen, and get them in prison. This is our duty, this is our responsibility, and I assure you we will continue to do it.
Corruption, insecurity, and inequitable economy. President Buhari says he has tried to combat these challenges for security, economic development, provision of decent infrastructure, and educating the next generation. Those who have criticized his administration's anti-corruption drive, the president observes, are those who oppose its mission, noting that though their lawyers may craft expensive alibis, they cannot escape that which binds them together. A raft of documents and barely legal mechanisms, whether they be the Panama Papers, U.S. Congress reports, shell companies, or offshore bank accounts. More ghost workers, he says, must be removed from government payroll as almost $550 million has been saved from identifying phantom employees, stressing that more can be recovered through the whistleblower policy, where $370 million has been returned since its launch in 2016. Victory over corruption, President Buhari says, is difficult, but not impossible, as he cautions Nigerians on the need to follow due process and exercise restraint, ensuring allegation never takes the place of evidence. It is now time for voters to decide if they want to continue on this path against corruption or revert to the past. This is why President Muhammadu Buhari is asking for another 4 years. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, an elder statesman and a member of a group of northern elders under the auspices of Kungiyar Dattawan Arewa that recently endorsed the candidature of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 general elections, Sani Zangondora, has maintained that the decision is not something unexpected, as politics the world over is about choice and aligning with candidates with proven record of integrity, uprightness, and good character. The elder statesman, who was speaking with political correspondent Mohammed Abubakar, was quick to know that the choice for Nigerians is between patriotism and its lack during the February 16th presidential elections.
Agreed. After thorough and wide consultations with quite a number of us, we felt the best candidate for this country is Buhari. He has no match. So anybody vying can only vie because it is democracy. But everybody knows the direction, and they know the character, they know the man. The man to beat is Buhari, and he cannot be beaten by anybody among all the candidates that are pledging themselves as presidential candidates of other parties. You come to choose. If you are choosing for the country, you choose the best for the country. The gentleman who can perform, the gentleman who has a good character, the gentleman who has the integrity, the gentleman who is widely respected not only in Nigeria, but also outside.
He affirmed that political developments in the region should not be seen as a sign of division, but rather the level of maturity among the actors. Abuja, Muhammad Abu.
And not less than 2 million voters are set to receive President Muhammadu Buhari and support his re-election as APC presidential campaign rally holds in Abeokuta on Monday. And Lekon Agbodi reports that all is set to receive the president and his campaign train.
Within the last 1 week, various groups have been moving around the state to mobilize support towards the success of the APC presidential campaign rally in Abeokuta. While the mobilization is ongoing, the Moshood Abiola International Stadium, Kuto, is currently receiving a facelift with necessary facilities being put in place to give Mr. President and his campaign team a rousing welcome. The state governor, Ibekula Mosun, in company of his deputy, Yetunde Onanuga, and other cabinet members, visited the stadium to assess the preparation put in place. Personnel of the various security agencies are also on ground to ensure that security is not compromised. Nigerian Television Authority, the largest TV network, is also set for a live telecast of the APC presidential campaign rally. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Now, fake news, hate speech, vote buying are a real challenge that Nigeria must confront and surmount as a nation for its sustainability. And Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, during a national workshop on the broadcast media coverage of the 2019 on general election states. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
The advent of social media did not just become a complement to the traditional one, but it's almost outshining it, as both broadcast and print media find their way to the platform, which originators of fake news now use to spread their messages, especially ahead of the 2019 general elections. Knowing that the Commission alone, as a regulator, cannot tackle the menace, National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, brought together media practitioners from public and private sector.
As the politicians and political parties make spirited efforts of winning the electorate around Nigeria, it is our duty to help the country make a most meaningful sense of the entire political and electoral process.
We should not promote any conduct that will cast our dear nation into a state of chaos or disrepute. This is essential to avoid sanctions being meted out by the appropriate government agencies.
It's a crime in the penal and criminal code laws to tell falsehood. Certain news are faked to cause disaffection.
Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, in a message gave the assurance of a strict gatekeeping on hate speech and fake news on all NTA platforms.
We have been working assiduously to combat this very dangerous menace that is facing us.
And as Nigerians head to the poll in few days, they were also reminded not to trade their destiny for anything by selling their votes. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
In the meantime, media practitioners in Nigeria have called on relevant authorities in the electioneering process to put the country first in all their actions during the upcoming 2019 general elections to guarantee free, fair and credible elections. Ali Tukur reports.
With few days to the 2019 general elections, media practitioners have come together to chart ways on how to have a successful elections by way of good reportage. Having a critical role to play in the development of the society, the media practitioners in collaboration with Search for Common Ground, a non-governmental organization, have set aside February 14 as a National Media Peace Day. The day is to create awareness on the need to have a peaceful elections. To achieve this objective, apart from public enlightenment, the media is expected to avoid sensational reportage that will hit up the polity.
Are also committed in ensuring that we play down on anything that would culminate in having violence during the election.
All the political parties, they have to be fair to them, give them equal opportunity to air their views, and to make sure that they don't carry fake or rumor in their reportage.
Violence is not an option in 2019 election. Disputes can be managed non-violently, and Nigerians should show violence before, during and after the election.
With the theme Nigeria Media Peace Day, think election, think peace, the day is to be celebrated across the country. In Abuja, Ali Tukur, NTA News.
And Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has described as untrue the news making the rounds as that Leah Sharibu, one of the kidnapped Dapchi school girls still in captivity in the hands of Boko Haram, is dead. The minister debunked the claim in Ilorin, the Kwara state capital, while briefing newsmen on the state of preparedness ahead of President Muhammadu Buhari's campaign visit to the state on Monday. Anthony Forson reports.
Taking a sweep at the news, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said the opposition is at work.
Spread falsehood, inflame passion, make this election a Muslim-Christian affair, make this election a North-Southern affair. But people are not listening to them. But to come back to the question, is absolute fake news. There's nothing like that.
On preparations ahead of the president's visit, he gave an up-to-date account.
I've watched the rallies in many parts of the country, and we want to assure the Mr. President that our rally, in terms of numbers, in terms of quality of people, in terms of variety of entertainment, in terms of color, will rank among one of the best.
He also spoke on security arrangements.
We expect a very peaceful and colorful rally.
Reacting to insinuations on the posting of a new police commissioner to Kwara State, Lai Mohammed washed off the hands of the federal government.
I didn't know when police officers started taking party membership. Only criminals have anything to fear in this state. They want to distract us. We remain focused. We are not the ones that do the postings, and we work with any police commissioner that's posted to Kwara State.
On the whole, he expressed confidence that the Kwara State outing of President Muhammadu Buhari will be a huge success. In Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And now to security. The Air Task Force of Operation Deramikia has intensified the bombardment of armed bandits hideout in Zamfara State and environs. Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Komodo Ibikule Daramola, indicates that the airstrikes were preceded by days of intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions initiated based on credible human intelligence reports, which led to the identification of several camps being used by the bandits to launch attacks against innocent civilians. Air interdiction missions were conducted at a location in Urugu Forest, south of Gurbimbauri, where some armed bandits were seen assembled by a logistic truck parked near their compound hideout. The Air Task Force dispatched a Nigerian Air Force attack helicopter and an Alpha jet to engage the bandits' trucks and compound. The helicopters struck the moving truck in successive strikes, immobilizing it and neutralizing its occupants. The Alpha jet simultaneously attacked the compound and destroyed one of the huts harboring the bandits, which was seen engulfed in flames. Credible intelligence sources later revealed that several bandits were killed as a result of the attack. The Nigerian Air Force, working in close coordination with surface forces and other security agencies, will sustain its reconnaissance and air interdiction missions to neutralize the armed bandits and deny them freedom of action in the area. And still on security, the Nigerian Army has debunked a statement credited to one Timi Frank, insinuating a meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari, the Chief of Army Staff and INEC officials to rig the forthcoming presidential elections. A statement by Director Army Public Relations, Colonel Aliu Yusuf, says the Nigerian Army is not political and would continue to remain so while carrying out its responsibility. Colonel Aliu says no such meeting held and wants mischief makers to stay clear of joining issues with the Nigerian Army and its leadership in matters that are purely political. The National Emergency Management Agency has directed immediate deployment of food and care items to the victims of Mongono IDP camp fire disaster to alleviate their sufferings. Director General of the agency, Mustafa Mehaja, while stating this at an emergency meeting, says the agency will not leave any stone unturned towards providing succor to the victims of the disaster. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
This is Munguno IDP camp in Borno State, now a shadow of itself as a result of the recent fire disaster that gutted the area. Just as the IDPs are picking the pieces of their lives as a result of the recent Boko Haram attacks, this fire disaster has added to their agony. Reports say 3 persons lost their lives and property, including food items of the IDPs, were destroyed. This emergency meeting by NEMA is at the instance of the situation in Munguno IDP camp to immediately provide succor to the IDPs.
Food arrangement has been made. The shelter we have discussed extensively with the manufacturers. We are moving from Monday about 184 tents, housing average of 15 to 20 people.
And we are happy to partner to alleviate the suffering of these IDPs. And we are going to work 24/7 to make sure that we provide the shelter the shortest possible time.
The agency also promised to always respond promptly to any incidences of disaster across the country. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
A high-powered delegation from the federal government have commiserated with immediate families of those who lost their lives in a stampede due to overcrowding during the APC presidential campaign rally in Taraba State. The secretary to the government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, led the delegation. Joseph Arson reports.
Massive crowd turned out during the presidential rally of the All Progressives Congress, APC, to show their love and affection for President Muhammadu Buhari. But tragedy befell the event as 8 persons died and many others sustained injuries as a result of a stampede. President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a special delegation to commiserate with the government and people of the state over the tragic event of 7th of February 2019. The delegation visited families of persons who lost their lives during the incident to deliver the president's condolence before reaching out to those injured and still in the hospital.
The simple thing that the president has assured me is that because of this enormity of affection and love that has been shown him, a solemn commitment to the people of Nigeria to take Nigeria to the next level, to bring prosperity to our people, to make sure that the ills of our society are completely or near completely eradicated so that we can have an egalitarian society.
The high-powered delegation was also at the government house to commiserate with the state governor on behalf of the people of the state. Representative of the president, Boss Mustafa, said President Muhammadu Buhari is deeply pained and considered the disaster as a personal loss because the people came out of love for him and what his administration is doing. He handed over a condolence letter from the president to Governor Darius Dixon Ishaku. Governor Ishaku expressed gratitude for the prompt response of the president, describing it as a show of concern for his people.
And I want you to take back to Mr. President to assure him that we will maintain the state in peace and will continue to imbibe the culture of peace to our people.
The delegation earlier visited the Emir of Muri to pay homage. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound Otsen, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Update with Olumide Eguntola.